live and direct from the new planet Earth. Where pandemics are plenty, but the girls are still pretty in fashionable dresses. You know what I'm talking about. Where ignorance is bliss. You ain't gotta give a damn about no code.
Tell me who unleashed our animal instinct. Why the op standing there tickle pink? Have a drink, walking them up liquor. Shot of poison, one thicker. Somebody got some explaining to do. And the classic man is a danger to you. And me too, tatted on my forehead. Go home, go to bed. Yeah, I dread something we get this way come. When the family unit is overrun. When the structure is undone by some new concoction. Now I walk softly and carry a big stick. Original gorilla in the midst.
Welcome to another episode of the Franchise Podcast. I'm Joe Arrigo. With me is my brother, TQ.
Yep. I'm in the building. I'm a little hungover, I guess. But
You can hear it.
yeah, we'll get through it.
We want to apologize first for the last couple of weeks not being around. It is cold and flu season. So Trish and I both kind of got a little sick.
Just sick, just germs, man. They just had germs running around the whole damn business here, man. Whole staff just germed out.
And then don't act like you weren't a part of it, because then all of a sudden everybody had to leave town last week.
Yeah, but not for germs, you know what I'm saying? I have to go to the infirmary like these people. Take your vitamins, okay? You, her, take your vitamins. All of you out there, get some vitamins, take them. It's that time of the season. Come on, man, treat yourself right.
Let's start the
Lay
show.
off the Coca-Colas and the chili fries.
All right, man. It was a big weekend in college football.
Yes, it was. It was.
So I want to start off in Colorado. You know, Colorado.
As does everybody these days.
Of course. Now, let me start by what I'm about to say. Let me start off like this, okay? I liked Colorado as a kid. They're my third favorite team behind USC and Florida State growing up. I liked them because I liked Coach McCartney. One of my first memories of football was Sal, who was the quarterback at at Colorado, who passed away with cancer. I got a chance to work with a former Buff named Anthony Witherspoon, and Anthony in 2005 passed away with leukemia, and they started the Buffs for Life Foundation to help former Buffaloes out when they're in need, to have times of need. Know Mike Pritchard well, as people in Vegas know. Right. Also, you know, Darian Hagan, Eric Bieniemy,
Bishop Amat,
that dated Charles Johnson's sister in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back with the Buffs.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to say is that with them being down for so long, it really bothered me because I loved them in the Big 12. One of my favorite games was the day after Thanksgiving, and it was Colorado, Nebraska.
Yeah. Like
those were like some real cool matchups in the Big 12.
Yeah.
So to see them down, it really sucked. And then Deion comes, and I was excited, and I am excited because growing up, I think like most people in our generation, Prime was one of our favorite players.
Absolutely.
And
won me a Super Bowl. Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year. Niners.
Still a better Falcon. But anyway, they went out and signed one of the better coaches, but he's the most polarizing figure in all of college football.
Yes.
And let's be honest, the first week they beat a TCU team that, quite frankly, was not last year's TCU team, and they suck.
Okay.
Then they came out and beat a Nebraska team, which isn't very good themselves. Nebraska's quarterback had 5 turnovers himself. Colorado struggled with them offensively.
They were an underdog in both games.
And they beat them.
Yes.
Okay. Then they played one of the bottom feeders of the Mountain West, Colorado State, with a game with all kinds of hype. They were 24-point favorites, and they struggled to go into double overtime against them.
Rivalry.
And they won. Everybody knew then, going into week 4, it was that time to get busy. We're going to see the real test for Colorado when they took on Oregon. Okay, that's the first one. And Colorado got ranked as high as 18th.
Yeah.
Which I didn't understand because, again, they had a lot more to prove to me personally to be ranked 18 ahead of a bunch of other teams that were, like Fresno State, for instance. Okay, so they go and they get waxed And everybody knows how I feel about the Ducks if you know me. And they're the one school in America that's proud of how many national championships they wear because they wear that number on the side of their helmet. 0. But I found myself watching this game like everybody else. I was enthralled with it.
Yeah.
Midway through the second quarter, it was 360-something yards to 30-something yards. It was an ass whooping.
It's the Ducks, man. Okay? You can talk about the 0 on the helmet. You can not give them their... They have propped up the Pac-12 for the last decade. USC ain't busted a grape. UCLA ain't busted a grape. Stanford, none of these other. It's been Oregon. That's been the only team that. Washington's been okay, but the bottom line is
Utah,
the recruiting trail,
yeah,
the consistency of winning, the consistency of being ranked. It's been the Ducks. All right, it's disrespectful for a number 19 or number 18 or whatever Colorado was when they went into Austin this weekend to have that much of a hype train. And you're not nobody's even mentioning the number 10 team in the country. They were the number 10 team in the country. They got dogs up and down every position on both sides of the ball, just like they always do. There is something that I feel like college football has missed, and I think it's because of those first 2 upsets. Deion said before this offseason started in full, look, I think it was in an interview or something, somebody was asking him, like, do you see yourself contending for a national championship with all of the transfers, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, look, I don't have the dogs on the line like that yet. The offensive and defensive line, you know, with the Georgias and the Alabamas and the LSUs of the world, we ain't there yet, right? Football people should have known that. I expected what happened Saturday to happen. They cannot compete with the Oregon Ducks. They cannot compete with the Trojans this year. They can't compete with the upper echelon of college football because they haven't had the time yet. That being said, what they can do is create the best possible chalkboard material for
their
an opposing coach. Absolutely. So the level of disrespect that this 1-11 team from last year is going to come in because they got a coach and some guys from wherever they got them from, playing from a HBCU last year, is going to come to Oregon and disrespect us, and the national media is all about them. Nobody's talking about us. Well, we're gonna smash the gas, and we're going to keep the gas going, and we're going to run them up out of here.
Credit your boy, Bo Nix, who was smart and left that program.
Oh, my God.
But he had a hell of a game.
Terrible.
But let's be real about this. It's the prime effect.
It is.
You know, Deion, when it comes to marketing, is a master marketer for his programs. He did the same exact thing at Jackson State the first year.
He did. He did the same thing in the NFL.
Well, you know, I'm talking about from a coaching standpoint. NFL-wise, I mean, look, he is the man that said if Detroit would have drafted me, they had to pay me so much, they'd have to put me on layaway.
I'm saying, Deion has always backed it up.
Always.
So I believe, given the time, if he chooses to stay there for, a long enough tenure, he's going to back it up. He's going to be playing for a conference championship pretty soon right there in Colorado because he's made the place cool, man. He just didn't have the time to take some of them big boys from these other programs.
Okay, but see, here's the issue I have with that. I'm gonna push back a little bit. He went and recruited these guys. And he went and got them out the portal. You gonna tell me he was like, you know what? I'm not gonna take any big guys right now.
No.
I don't need this type of luggage right now. I'm gonna wait till next time to get my luggage.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened. Colorado is not a big boy place. Big boys don't go to the NFL from Colorado. Nick Saban can go to a big boy's house and say, check this out. You're going to come here and sit on the bench for 3 years. And then you're going to go to the NFL. Who else can? You can't say that in Colorado. You can't say that in the Pac-12.
True.
The big boys are coming from the Midwest and they coming from the South, and they go to places that can give them a free lane to the NFL.
But the thing is, you can recruit those guys. If you're in the portal and you're bringing in all these skilled guys, you have to have foresight. And I know Deion does.
He does. You got to have time. It ain't been enough time. Man, the man is 3-4 games into his first season at the place. It's gonna take time. USC last year, they didn't have the dogs on the lines that they had this year.
It's a good point.
It takes time. Guys got to see. Oh, okay. Oh, I could go and block for Caleb Williams. Oh, that's a reason for me to go. People didn't know Shedeur was this. He was playing on HBCU last year.
Wait, we still don't know if he's like that. Let's be real. I mean, because
I can check the processor.
Okay, no, I'm talking about.
I can see the processor and I can see the pedigree. I can see that that's an NFL quarterback.
I'm not saying he's not an NFL quarterback.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is they're talking Heisman hype and this and that.
No.
Now, it's like, okay, again,
No.
go look at the 3 teams he played prior to Oregon.
But a lot of that's clickbait, man. We know he ain't ready for a Heisman yet. He can't win a Heisman at Colorado.
Why not? Rashawn Salam did.
Rashawn Salam had an offensive line.
But you just said no offensive line ever goes to Colorado.
Man, Rashawn Salam was 20-something years, 30 years ago, bro. What are you talking about? I'm talking about right now, in the age of Nick Saban. They can't compete.
What I'm saying is teams now are lining up to beat Deion, not lining up to beat the guys.
Agreed.
And this is where I wonder, openly, does Deion need to take a little bit of that marketing gas, take his foot off it a little bit?
I would.
Because now, look, they got USC this week.
You're going to get smashed.
And I'm going to be honest, the way USC played against Arizona State was not good for 3.5 quarters.
Right.
And Caleb, albeit he didn't have the best game, it still was a hell of a game. I mean, but he was missing throws and whatnot. So it's not like he played a perfect game. But I think USC is like, okay, we're gonna put our foot on the gas against Colorado. We're gonna try to beat the dogs out of them.
So you say they thinking about Colorado?
I think that they were a little preoccupied because it is a national game. Okay. And I think, and this was one of the games, because USC, I don't care where they're ranked right now. They could be number 8 or 7 or whatever, 8 right now behind Washington and 1 in front of Oregon as we shoot this. I think USC, though, their games are going to come down to...
USC's number 5 now, ain't it?
No, they're not. They fell back a little.
Okay.
I could see them being a team that is... Their schedule is based off of Utah, UCLA, Notre Dame, and they have one more, and then I think Washington, and then Colorado. And the reason I say that, and Colorado's got to be the first box check, because it's a 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific Coast time start. That means everybody down south and in the East Coast could watch it while they eat their lunch.
Well, I mean, that's what it's going to be going forward.
Exactly, but that's why I think they were looking past Arizona State this weekend.
Okay, so you're answering your own question. If a team like USC is looking past Arizona State, literally one of the biggest student enrollment populations in the country, they're looking past Arizona State to look at Colorado, why would Deion temper down any of his marketing? That's the whole point, to put Colorado on the map. They are absolutely on the map, and regardless of what happened with Oregon, regardless of what happened, what's going to happen with USC this weekend, that team, after next year's transfer portal, is going to be much better than they are this year. And that's because of their coach. Period.
You sound, as far as a skill set position, how you described Colorado.
Yeah.
From a local here, Las Vegas standpoint, high school-wise, it sounds like Desert Pines.
Agreed.
All kinds of skill positions,
That's a good
crazy
analogy.
skill positions, but the line itself. But like DP, do they lack discipline? Do they lack structure? I mean, you got players walking off the field. Fans are literally taking their phones and recording, yeah, and when the players grabs the dude's bandana off his head and throws it away and has to be escorted out. Look at the Colorado State game, and I know it's a rivalry game,
Right.
as you said earlier.
Right.
But look at all the stuff pre-game, the fight, and you got Shador in front of the camera doing this with the rollie. Like, is there a lack of discipline or structure that Deion has there? I'm asking it because if you agree with my analogy with the school here, that's the knock on the high school here.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't think it's a lack of discipline I don't think that's institutional with Colorado. I think that these are kids, first and foremost, and they've never been stars to this level before. They have a brash coach, and they are taking on his persona. And I don't have a problem with that. You just got to back it up. You can't get whooped like they just got whooped, as simple as that. So now I would think that would be a lesson learned. I think that that's a teachable moment. College football is real,
But
and when you get to a program like Oregon, they're thoroughly outmatched, man. Period. Just you don't have the dogs yet. There is nothing that they could do in that game to compete because they don't have the dogs. Like that offensive line, Colorado's offensive line versus Oregon's defensive line, man, it's like running through paper. They ain't got the guys. So give him his time to get the guys. I think Deion understands. I think even Shador understands. Listen, we're going to be everybody's chalkboard. I cannot believe that they wouldn't have had that conversation
but
early in the season.
You said, when you, and you got me really thinking about it because you didn't say that earlier, and when you said it, it made me think that they're taking on Deion's personality.
Yes.
And I agree that teams do that with their coaches 150%. You want to know why Alabama players act the way they act? Because look no further than St. Nick.
Period.
Okay? But
Clemson.
But
Same. Texas A&M. Georgia. It's the same, man.
Okay.
Take on the persona of
Okay.
Bishop Gorman. UNLV.
But here's
Not
the
the
difference.
Raiders.
We'll get to them in a minute. But the difference between Deion and everybody that's lacing them up for Colorado, no matter what blood is going through their veins, they're not Deion.
Right. Good point.
They're not the number 5 overall pick in the 1989 draft.
Good point.
They are not an NFL Hall of Famer, a college football Hall of Famer.
And you really don't have another school in that position to compare this to. It's only
Exactly.
them.
It's only them. So
I get that. But still, think about it. They're taking their coaching from him. He's a father figure to a lot of them kids.
And I love that about him.
So, that's what I think that's going to be a part of playing for Colorado as long as he's there. Because you can't take him and make him not Deion Sanders.
No, and here's the thing. I love Deion and what Deion is doing. I love Colorado being relevant. I love the fact that they've sold out every home game at Folsom Stadium for the first time in 100+ years.
Come on, man.
Like, I love it. I love the fact that a minority man is doing it there because that's not a great place for minorities to be.
Exactly.
Let's just be real about that.
Facts.
So the fact that Deion is doing it, I commend him.
They're going to take their lumps, man.
And speaking of taking lumps,
Period.
You lay money on games, I don't. Okay? They're playing our boys this week, and I know when you gamble, you don't think with your heart.
Right. No, you don't.
You think with your wallet.
For
so
sure.
you heartless Mickey Ficky.
Bro.
Tell me who you got this week.
USC is going to beat the living dog beep out of Colorado, much like we just saw with Oregon. It's just another level of college football when you're playing the big boys. And I said it from the beginning. I think Deion understands it. I think his team understands it. They're going to ride the wave because compared to what Colorado was last year this time, they're doing a great damn job across the board for the school, for the football team, for the athletic program, for recruiting coming in subsequent years. But they ain't got it yet, man. USC is definitely one of the best teams in the country. And the holes that they have in their roster, which are a lot less than what they were last year, just shows you what one transfer portal can do, right? But they also have that X factor. Caleb Williams, to me, is the best quarterback playing football right now outside of Patrick Mahomes, period. With Aaron Rodgers being hurt, next to the Chiefs, maybe the Dolphins now too. That's the greatest show on TV, man, when it comes down to playing football. That kid is something different. I've been saying it from the beginning. I want the Raiders to tank so that they can get him, because all of these decades of losing would change immediately. The team that drafts Caleb Williams, it doesn't matter what they have right now. He is going to turn them into a Super Bowl champion. I don't know if he could win the national championship, because I can't tell you who the best team in college football is.
No, right now there's.
I don't have a clue.
Georgia has
got
quarterback
holes.
issues.
Yes.
Florida State, you don't know. They're Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Who knows what they're going to do? Ohio State don't look.
They have quarterback issues too. They
Yeah,
struggle
man.
with Notre Dame.
Texas looks better than we've seen them in years.
Washington, maybe.
Washington looks good. I don't know.
You brought up Oregon. You know.
You got to throw them in the hat too. I don't know. I just know that I like the fact that it's so competitive, and I like the fact that the transfer portal has brought the attention west. Finally, I do not see no SEC anything anymore. The playing field is equal across the board.
Well, here's the thing. I look at it like this. You got Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Then you got a next group of people, Michael Penix, your boy Bo Nix, May at North Carolina. There's the next three. And then right beneath that, that's where Shador sits and a few other guys. And after that, there's just who you got. And
my thing is, though,
the
the
gap
space between Caleb and
Yes.
everybody else is much further than these guys down here.
Absolutely.
Much further. It's
Caleb-
like a cliff.
Caleb does things I think like I used to do it when I was dating.
And he was dating.
Yeah.
So
So,
I
like,
hope to God he's not doing those things.
No.
Oh, man.
We'd have more fun, but
Oh, man.
But Caleb,
Please, Caleb, don't be doing the things that Joe used to do when he was dating.
So-
Please, you're not going to win anything, bro. Might end up in the hospital with some sort of infection.
But I would say I would say things to purposely see if I can get out of trouble or do things to get out of trouble. I think he does it on
That's
the field.
how you would handle?
Sometimes
That's how you do it?
Sometimes I would.
That's a shame.
But I think, Caleb, you've been around when I've done it. I've fervently done things.
Sad.
To get mad, then come on, I'm good. I just want to see.
Sad. The game's toxic. Toxic. Ladies, don't have this kind of man. Don't do it.
I was younger. But Caleb will do
Anyway.
things in the pocket where he's sitting there and he's like, I'm going to run this way. Oh, wait, you know what? Let me go back and run this way. Hold
Crazy
on.
toys with people.
And then
man.
he's like, okay, and just throw to you right there. Touchdown.
Toys with people.
Like, Caleb is just different.
He is.
You know, but I'm going to put a cap on college football, but I want to talk about UNLV real quick.
Yeah.
They went down to UTEP and down in El Paso, played at the Sun Bowl for the first time in 30 years, and beat UTEP, put a 40 burger. It was a 45-28. UNLV is without their starting quarterback, Doug Brumfield, who was out with an injury, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
They were also starting a freshman at running back for the second straight week, three times out of the other four games.
Hell of a little freshman, though.
Jaden Thomas
Yeah.
Jet had 13 carries for 100 yards and a tied a school record with 4 touchdowns in the game. You know, being around UNLV as long as I have now, 8 years.
Yeah.
This team, there's a different feeling. There's a different vibe with them. And I don't want to look too far ahead. Okay, I want to
Please
stay.
don't.
But
Please don't.
I think you have to, because this week they open up conference play and welcome in our brothers and sisters from Hawaii in the Ninth Island Classic. They're playing for the Golden Pineapple, and UNLV is -8 in that game, and then you go to the following week. They play UNR in the meth capital of the world, and
Hard on Reno.
not as hard as the drugs that people do there. But anyway,
I don't like it up there either.
okay,
bro.
so
Do
we're in
your thing.
agreement. So
Have at it.
so they go up there, and as of the show, they've lost 19 straight games, and they lost to Idaho at home, blew a 17-point lead at halftime last week to Texas State. So
I
there's
mean, Reno had a mass exodus during this portal though, didn't they?
a couple years ago, but I mean, still, they brought in Big Boy's son from Oregon. They brought in an Oregon linebacker. I mean, they brought in guys. They brought in Colorado's former quarterback. I mean, it's not like they weren't bringing in guys. You talk to some people up there, Chris Murray in particular, he thought that they could go to a bowl. And he still thinks that UNLV is their best chance to win a game this year. UNLV is averaging 40 points a game. They scored 40 points in 3 out of 4 games.
Hey.
You know, and after that, they got Fresno State, but then they also play Colorado State and New Mexico. Going into that Fresno State game, UNLV really could be 5-1, and then really 7-2 after that New Mexico game.
Do a lot of jinxing when you do this. I hate.
I'm just pointing out, like
you did this last year, and they just lost
Nah,
right after you said it.
No,
Come on, please don't do them like that.
different vibe, man. I'm telling you, it's all good vibes. Good vibes. What's your thoughts on what you seen Saturday night?
That offense, man, is hard to deal with. It is. You don't have a lot of tape on how to practice against that. I think they bring that to the table more so than anything else. If it gets going and it gets to rolling, it's gonna overwhelm defensive lines and linebackers in particular, right? The speed of it, it wears you down. It wears you down. It confuses guys. Don't know how to line up. It seems like there's always going to be a gap open because you just don't get the time to recover, right? So we've seen it work well against Bryant. That was the first game, so you don't really count. It was the first time they kind of could put the duds on and do it and live. Michigan is Michigan, so you can't really count that.
But they covered.
They did cover. But last night,
well, Vanderbilt.
Oh, Vanderbilt also. So
SEC team.
Good point. But I feel like last night, whether it was a thing where guys are getting more comfortable because of repetition, or it's just that thing where, like I saw on the sidelines with Bryant, where you just have the defense overwhelmed because they don't know what's going on. So I think that this year in particular, they can fool people with that. They can catch Mountain West teams off guard because they also had the skilled players to run it. Like they didn't just bring that offense; they bought guys that work well in it. So that's exciting to me. I don't know when the rest of the conference will catch up with it, but I think that this year they got an upper hand because there's not a lot of tape on how to combat that.
I don't know if a lot of teams can't catch up to it right now.
You might be right.
Like, because I think Brendan Marion does a great job of finding the area he wants to attack and creating that mismatch and attacking it. I mean,
yeah.
And again, you're running something this way. You could be running a dive, but he pulls, and now you got option.
Right.
And then in the option, your receiver's going downfield, and you can actually pass them. Jada Maava or Doug Brumfield can pass them. I mean, it gives you multiple looks.
Yeah, that split second for the safeties and the linebackers to figure out what's going to happen in that it's gone already. So, I think that they are a product of a great system that works well for the players that they have. And I think they could be successful with it this year, barring no more major injuries.
All right, so I asked you who you got, and you're dropping a coin on USC.
Yeah.
So we're going to stick with it here. The line is -8, UNLV over Miami, going on Monday. So who do you got?
UNLV over Hawaii.
Hawaii. I got Miami on my mind.
Yeah, I'll take UNLV, and they cover.
They're going to cover?
Yes.
All right, so he's giving you 2 locks right now.
Come on, man. Lock them in.
All right, let's get to the NFL.
Oh, God, do we have to?
Yes, we have to get to the NFL. Because Sunday night, the eyes of the football universe
We're on Three Rivers Stadium.
We're on the black hole. And as they panned in past the eternal flame where Mike Tyson lit during the game prior to the kickoff, and you come down over the black, right? You see the black hole on the horizon. You see a sea of yellow flags. Terrible towels. And it looked terrible.
Everywhere.
Terrible.
They were everywhere, man. They were everywhere. I've been season ticket holder there since the stadium opened, and nobody has taken over like that, not even the Niners. And the Niners really do take over when they come. But it was a Steeler home game completely. You know, Vegas has a loud crowd. The Raiders crowd is loud regardless. They're gonna make noise for the Raiders regardless. So, but boy, when your own home stadium is causing you to have
You go to silent count?
because you got so many false starts, you can't hear yourself, man. That is, I don't like to be on the receiving end of that. I love to be on the giving end of that. And as a Niner fan, that happens a lot. I was a season ticket holder for the Saints. Anytime the Niners came, it got rough in the Superdome. That's one of the loudest places in the nation. But this Steeler thing, man, they just got too many people. It is what it is.
So, with all that being said, with the offensive line in particular, Parham,
Yes.
with the mistakes he made, with the 3 interceptions from my guy Jimmy G.
I told you. I said, win, lose, or draw, good or bad, you're going to get interceptions with Jimmy Garoppolo.
You did.
And that's just what it is, man.
You did.
It just comes with the territory.
But
period.
with all of that being said, the Raiders were still 1 score away from tying the ball game up.
Yeah.
And let's just fast forward to that moment, which the Raiders, with about 2 minutes and 50-something seconds left, kicked the field goal, which was there was a flag on the penalty and nullified because a Steeler used the long snapper as leverage, which is a personal foul. It brought the Raiders up, and they were inside. You know, they were in the red zone.
Yeah.
And got, I think, as inside, I believe, the 8.
Something like that.
Something like that. And after third down, Josh McDaniels had to make a decision. Now, I'm going to put on my coaching hat for a minute.
Please do.
I'm not going to put on, and again,
Please explain, break it down, brother.
put on the black hole hat. Shout out to Cisco and Johnny for the gear, black hole. I'm rocking with y'all today. So, as a coach, what goes through your mind in that situation is my defense has gotten 3 stops in a row, 3 and outs.
Right.
They've held the offense.
Which, commendable.
Yes,
Gotta mention
very good
that.
job.
Yeah.
I can kick the field goal, and I got 4 time stoppages left. I got my 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning.
Right.
I can get the ball back probably between my 35 and 45 yard line. I can get the way our offense is going the last 2 drives, we can march down the field.
That's where he messed up.
Or I can go for the touchdown right here and the 2-point conversion to tie it up. And if I don't get it, they get the ball like the 8, whatever it is, yard line. You know what? Let me go ahead and give my defense a vote of confidence, because they may need that from me as the head coach. I'm going to kick the field goal, use my time stoppages, and that's what he did.
Critical mistake.
I see the logic behind it, though.
I get it, but you cannot leave out your opponent. You're the head coach of the team. Look who's across the field from you. You're not getting the ball back. That's Mike Tomlin over there. You're not getting the ball back.
They do practice goal line.
They practice goal line in that situation more than anybody else in the NFL.
You're absolutely right.
They have been that from the beginning. They're going to be that until the cows come home. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're not getting the ball back. That was a grave mistake. I understand the thought process. I understand maybe playing that against another team. But that's their calling card. You wasn't getting the ball back. You got to try to win the game right then and hope that your defense holds up after that, because they still got too much time.
Well, look, that third down, now I'm going to credit Matt Canada from the Steelers. And that that was a hell of a call on third down. But that blitz on third down, the slot blitz, I understand the reasoning behind it, because you don't think they're going to call that little screen to get your dude out.
Goodness.
But I'll be damned if they didn't have the perfect offensive call.
Perfect, man.
And Patrick Graham gambled. He lost.
Crapped out.
And that was it for the Raiders.
Wrap.
And you know what?
Done.
Devontae Adams basically said after the game last night, it's in the recap, I have the quote in the recap from what he said in the locker room, which was essentially, Like, we got to fix it. We have to find who we are. That's what these games are for, because late in the year, that's when we become. We got to find our rhythm, and I'm not going to wait much longer for it. That right there was essentially Tay saying, look, I know my deal technically is a 5, but there's an out after year 2 or year 3.
Yeah.
Do something, or my dream of retiring a Raider could maybe be in jeopardy.
I mean, if you put his words with everybody else's, listen to what Max said, listen to what JJ said. I don't want McDaniels to lose this team.
I don't either.
Right?
Bad for the team.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there is something there where I feel like guys are not getting it, right? And that fine line between what to do about guys not getting it, right? If a guy doesn't understand a concept and that concept takes him out of what he does best, you as a coach, how do you fix that? Do you meet the player in the middle, or do you force that square peg into that round hole?
I'm a different type of coach because more than anybody, I'm a Jimmy Johnson type coach.
You understand?
My star players get star treatment.
I understand.
My bottom feeders get shit treatment. That's just how it is.
I understand. But the point here is to win games.
But I also am a big players coach and big on discipline. So
what do you do in that situation?
Me personally, I put my players in the best position that can make plays in my offense.
Okay, I don't believe that a good part of this Raider team believes that their coach is doing that for them. And based on the last 2 weeks of watching their games and then their post-game interviews, there's going to come a point where the team is going to tune it out.
Let me ask you a question,
I don't want that to happen.
So, Jimmy Garoppolo's in concussion protocol as of Monday, right?
Yeah.
And Jimmy G said something interesting in a press conference a while back. It caught my eye, and I kind of stored it in my memory bank, and it came up yesterday. Jimmy G has said that when you're a quarterback, you're wired to make certain throws and not make certain throws because of the window or the tight space or how the coverage, whatever. Mm-hmm. But with Devontae Adams, you kind of throw those rules out of it because he's different. You can make those throws and he will get to it and he will make those plays.
You got to make those throws with timing, though.
Okay, I'm gonna say
he doesn't beat guys with speed. He beats guys with the most precise route running we've probably ever seen, right?
Yeah.
That means that your timing, you're releasing that ball. You can't be doing happy feet and all of that because patting the ball and moonwalking is going to get the ball intercepted. You didn't see Aaron Rodgers doing all of that. And I mentioned this. I know you hit me with the Mina Kimes analytics in the last show.
Yeah.
But I got eyes. Derek Carr used to get the ball out of there fast because he was scared. He wasn't holding on to the ball. He was scared.
Speaking of which, Derek, we want you to get better. We know you hurt your shoulder yesterday.
Yeah,
get well, man, because you are a good dude no matter how much hell we give you.
Absolutely. That split second, half second, millisecond between you throwing a great accurate pass and being a little bit late when you're throwing against double coverage and bracket coverage is going to get the ball intercepted. And we see it getting intercepted.
I also think he's trying to force feed the ball to Devontae because he's never had a receiver like this.
I get it, but what has got him the furthest in his career?
Check downs, middle of the field.
Behind the linebackers, in front of the safeties. That's his golden spot. That's what he did in San Francisco. And this offense calls for it. I'm sitting there at the game. Listen, man. Myers is getting open in those areas. Hunter Renfrow is getting open in those. The big tight end, he's open in those areas.
Mike May.
Numerous times. My man, number 11, I love that dude. The Tucker. Oh, man.
I love him too.
They just got to put him in a space where he can win. and I don't think they do a good enough job of it. But for whatever reason, Jimmy is not looking at his sweet spots. He's constantly just fixated on Devontae, who's gonna have 2 people on him 9 times out of 10. And Jimmy's just not the most accurate quarterback, right? If you go look at his time in San Francisco, you look at him throwing to the Ayuks and to the Debos and all of the George, they always catching out here, or they down here, or down there, or he's leading them. That's why they the Yak Boys. He's not an accurate guy like that. And that affinity for wanting to throw the ball to Devontae, because he is a different guy and because he's never had a receiver like that, it's just gonna get turnovers, man.
So
it's gonna be turnovers.
So with Jimmy in concussion protocol, right? I know a lot of fans yesterday when he went down from the hit that Fitzpatrick hit him with, they're like, oh, hell, here comes Brian Hoyer. Why can't it be Aiden O'Connell? We need AOC. Well, I actually thought about this yesterday while I was writing the recap, and actually while I was laying in bed last night. I think part of the reason why Josh McDaniels has not elevated Aiden O'Connell to the number 2 spot was because of how, I don't want to say sensitive, but how Jimmy G had to deal with it the last 2 or 3 years in San Francisco, where he's the guy, and all of a sudden you got Trey Lance, and all of a sudden it's not only Trey Lance, but Brock Purdy. And it's like, nah, you come here, you're my guy. But then it's like, yo, this rookie is lighting it up.
I mean, he went to San Francisco to be their guy. He played himself into a position of them drafting Trey Lance.
So 4 games is a position to
No.
Okay,
I'm not saying.
Because some people may interpret that.
Oh,
I
no,
just
no,
want
no,
to
no.
make you out of
That's
your mouth.
that's not what I'm saying at all. I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is being the Jimmy Garoppolo that I thought he was going to be. He's going to throw interceptions, period. I said that when we got him. That is going to happen. That is his MO. He's going to throw the ball away. At the same time, there are going to be some games this year that you're going to be like, damn, that Jimmy Garoppolo can really play quarterback.
As Adrian would say, that's my quarterback.
Yeah, I'm saying, man. So it just is what it is. It's kind of a Derek Carr situation again. We went from one to the other. It wasn't that much of a difference. One does certain things better. One does other things better. I think that Jimmy, his personality and his tenacity ingratiates him with the guys in the locker room and the people on the streets. But you're going to have interceptions thrown every Sunday.
Can't forget about the places with the platters.
Man, I hope the guy Jimmy's just chilling out. I just want.
He is. You know what I like about Jimmy? Last night they talked about the thing he loves most about Vegas?
It's what?
The great pizza in town. He said it's better than San Francisco.
Vegas pizza is better than San
Yes,
Francisco
he said
pizza?
there's better places to eat for pizza in Vegas than San Francisco.
You know what? I mean, at the end of the day.
You haven't had a pizza since 1993.
No, I'm not talking about pizza. I'm just saying, period. The best version of food, period, is here in Las Vegas.
Yeah. So
I've been everywhere. I've been to Paris, to Rome, to all of these supposedly great foodie cities, New York, LA. And Vegas got the best of everything. Everybody's best version of their restaurant is right on the strip.
So I love it for that Jimmy G is talking about pizza. I know some good pizza spots, Jimmy, like for real.
Slow it down, big boy. Why don't you get you a kale salad or something? I've
actually been eating a lot of salad.
Right. Yeah, you say that all the
No,
time.
I do.
I've actually been eating a lot of salad.
The pre-made salads. I got them now.
Yeah, and then with what, fries?
No, just a salad.
Yeah,
Salads and soups all weekend. That's all I've been eating.
Nice. And then you go out at night and get wings.
I haven't gone out anywhere.
Drink a gallon of tequila.
That was Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday was.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. I was a raving lunatic yesterday.
Do you remember calling me last night?
When you mentioned it earlier, like I kind of vaguely. I think I showed up somewhere, man. I was completely out of dress code, and I was just ridiculous. And they're like, we're not letting you in here like that. I was feeling some kind of way. It was the tequila, man. It's just ridiculous. Now I didn't even know we were shooting the show today, and I'm the one that said let's shoot the show today. So like, it is what it is. Look, kids.
PSA from Uncle Squeeze.
Don't do yourself like this, okay? Leave the alcohol alone, all right? Let it go. You go to the game, you should be able to watch the game, you should be able to chill, have a good time. You don't have to pound beers and silver and black margaritas. Uncle Squeeze is setting a bad example. I apologize. I'm gonna try to do better. after the Raiders play the Chargers next week in Los Angeles.
You going to the Super Bowl? I mean, we may be covering it.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about paying. Since you're a season ticket holder, you can put your, whatever down.
Possibly, man. I want to see how it comes out because, like, boy, tickets been at a premium this year.
You're not lying.
Oh my goodness, boy! I've been doing my thing. Sold my ticket yesterday for an astronomical amount of money. Doing good work out here.
Doing God's work.
It's going down. So I don't know, but I am. I'm very excited about the Super Bowl this year because I know what this city is capable of, just like you do. Mm-hmm. So I'm expecting all the bells and whistles and the production value and the entertainment value of this year's Super Bowl to be the best we've ever seen.
Glad you brought that up, brother.
Yeah.
So the Super Bowl announced on Sunday that Usher is going to be the halftime performer.
Usher. Yeah.
Okay, Ursh, look. I, for one, am ecstatic. I love the fact that Usher is a halftime performer.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back a couple years. We had Snoop, Dre, all basically, Aftermath, Death Row. They killed it.
Yeah.
Second best performance behind Prince to me.
Agreed.
Okay. Then you had Riri last year.
Great.
And I'm not a huge Rihanna fan, but she's got some bangers.
My favorite female performer.
Really?
Absolutely. Killed it. Loved it.
I agree. She did. 100%. I was enthralled with the performance.
Yes.
But Usher's going to be different.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to tell you why. But first, there's some backlash, first of all.
I don't understand that.
Like, people are really saying, it's not Vegas enough. What the hell? Okay, first of all, they don't want Elvis impersonators. They don't want Wayne Newton. Like, we all remember Uncle Wayne singing the national anthem last year at the Raiders game.
But they're not calling for that, man. They're calling for the Killers. They're calling for Imagine Dragons. They're calling for artists that are from Vegas. But at the end of the day...
No, they're not Usher.
Usher has the best show on the Strip. I've seen this dude's show 3 or 4 times, and it is just it's highly entertaining. Like, I mean, I've worked the shows down there doing engineer work. I've seen the majority of them from Cirque du Soleil, most of the performers that have come here. And just the amount of hit records that Usher has given us over the last 30 years.
Over 9 top 10 pop. Not R&B or hip hop, pop.
Not only that, he can jump around the genres. He can give you a ballad. He can give you a dance R&B song and go all the way to a techno joint.
Yeah.
Right?
Diamond artist as well.
Right. But the key here is the ability to perform. Who does it better? Who still sounds like that?
Nobody.
Usher still look like he did when he was a little kid. Mm-hmm. Right? The production value of his show is off the charts awesome.
Always has been.
He sounds great, man. the man, how old is Usher? He's a little bit younger than us, right?
I think he's like maybe 42, 40.
Okay, so somewhere around that. I remember when he first came out, he couldn't even get in the club, right? So there's like a thing, I think, with our generation. Like, he was one of the ones that was younger than us. Like, we looked up at Michael Jackson and Prince and like all of the great ones that they were older than us. They was our parents' age, right? So there was a thing of, I always talk about this with Kobe Bryant. He was the one superstar that was like,
we grew up with him.
Yes. Right?
Yes.
So Usher is one of the ones that literally is younger than us. And his such a big part of his fan base is older than him.
Yeah, he's little brother.
Exactly. So I think that there's a bit of just a little brother vibe to accepting him as doing something this big. But he's absolutely worthy of it with his track record. Yeah. And not only that, the fact that I done seen him, and listen, man, it takes a lot to entertain me. I done been on thousands of stages. I done been to hundreds of shows.
Baby Marine did it?
Man, listen, I keep going back because it's good. So, it's good. He sounds like his records. Knows how he's a showman.
He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
He's
one of the best ones on earth right now. He should be doing the Super Bowl.
And the thing is I know people could say Chris Brown Chris Brown's great and all, but like, again, talking about little brother, that's little brother.
Yeah, but okay, When the last time you've been to a Chris Brown concert?
I seen him at a club.
Does he sound like he sounds on the records?
No.
Is he able to does he have the stamina to perform straight for the Super Bowl?
No.
Like that? I don't know. I mean, Chris Brown likes to party a bit more than I think Usher does. Usher takes a much better care of himself.
Let me go
Doesn't
ahead.
dabble in certain things, you know what I mean?
Let me just go ahead and state this. That's the other reason why I'm glad it's Usher.
Why?
Because we both done party with them at some point in our life. Me down in Atlanta, go to college. You pulled up to the Atrium, 112, Chili Pepper. Like, that was
Tell you a funny story.
Magic City, you know.
Tell you a funny story. Did a show with Usher in Atlanta. He was coming off of his tour. So he had some of his props on stage. And he had like a little throne, like an Usher throne that kind of sat at the front of the stage. And it's like, I couldn't really do my show. I had to walk behind the thing because I opened up. I had to walk behind the thing anytime I want to go to the other side of the stage. And like, we was just coming off the road and his mom was nice enough to let me use his bus, one of his buses to get dressed in, right? Which was cool. I loved it. We needed that. Man, I got a little overzealous on stage and I went up on the man's chair. Oh my goodness. We got kicked off the bus, man. They had us walking across the parking lot. My bus finally showed up with bags. We walking across the parking lot with bags, man. Mom's got upset about me going up on that chair, man. It was, I was trying to do my thing. It is what it is, but I probably would have did it the same way. So I don't have no problem with Usher about that. Now my mom, she has an issue with Usher to this day. Because of that.
Really?
Because of that situation. At the end of the day, you the opening act, you ain't supposed to go up on the man's chair, man. Somebody would have went up on my chair, I'd have been mad as hell.
Look, man, I'll tell you like this. One of the reasons why I was real happy with Usher is you go back as to, I listed off the top of my head a bunch of songs that stay on Twitter, just Usher songs. Mm. But you can just do the whole performance off of the Confessions album. That's one of, you can look like that all you want. Hey, that album in, I think it was what, 04, 05-ish? That album in that time period, I mean, from let's say 2000 to, hey, that man's top five.
Man, Usher, top five what?
That's a top five album in that time period.
Man, listen, that was a good album. That's cool and all, but that's not what has him.
It's not, but you could.
Doing this performance. This is the biggest performance of his life. And he got this because of his ability to cross over.
Yep.
It's the songs with David Guetta, it's the Lil Jon, it's that kind of stuff that got him there because those aren't R&B hits. Those are worldwide pop hits that popped all over the world. And you gotta have that to be able to we just talked about it. The second best performance ever. But how many of them was it? How many stars did you have to command that stage at that time?
Too many.
A bunch, man.
Man,
you had to have a lot of people.
And all you hear is doo 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 doo. The whole club still goes up.
Yeah. Game over.
Yeah. That's how you close it.
Happy for him, man. I'm glad he's doing it. I can't wait to see it because I know him as a performer. I know how much of a perfectionist he is, and I'm expecting that everybody involved is trying to do the best version ever because it's here.
So, Usher, you have an open invite to join us on the Franchise Podcast anytime you want before you do the Super Bowl show to talk about the new album that's coming out called Coming Home and everything else you got jumping off. Open invitation to you, brother. We know you're in Vegas.
We're not going to jump on your chair. We're not going to do none of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're not going to jump on his chair. I'll make sure he doesn't. You can sit somewhere else. Me and you or whatever.
Mother.
All right, man. Let's get on a serious topic real quick. Grass versus turf in the NFL. Now, this is something that we come across daily, or really every weekend, because high school football, and covering UNLV Raiders, we're around and walking on the turf. And there's times where I come home, my knees, my lower back is just killing me. I know you wore knee braces or knee pads.
Yeah, I do.
For your legs. But I look at the hit on Jimmy G last night where he got bent back. And then I look at Aaron Rodgers in his 75th second of playing with the New York Jets with his Achilles exploding. You know, on MetLife's turf is some of the worst in all of the NFL, if not all the sports. David Bakhtiari, one of the best tackles in the game for years, has been very vocal about the NFL putting grass on all the surfaces because it's safer. Yeah. Bottom line, is safer. I think Jimmy G would have tore an ankle or a knee last night if he was on turf.
I agree.
So with all that being said, there's a grass surface out there that I kind of mentioned in our message.
Tell me about it.
It's called DD Grass 2000, and it's a grass, like a bluegrass, with synthetic turf kind of woven into it. Okay. And it can be used in snowy conditions, wet conditions, overheated conditions, whatever. I don't see why more teams don't go to using grass versus turf, because they do when soccer teams come.
Right. I don't either, man. I know that there's an aesthetic there that, you know, you want it to look good for TV, and grass just goes through its things sometimes. But I mean, put a little money into the grounds crew, put a little money into the upkeep. This is the top of this sport, the top possible way to play this sport in the world. All the supplies, all of the engineering, all of everything around it should be the best of the best. And come on, with all the analytics that the NFL has to come to on every other level, there's got to be analytics out there that shows the difference between grass and turf, man. It's like, once again, take care of the players, man. But they already call it not for long. You know what I'm saying? You can extend guys' life playing ball just by fixing the surface, man.
But at some point, that falls on the Players Association. Like, DeMaurice Smith has been taking it over, bend over, taking it over with no Vaseline for years. And that's one of the reasons why I think almost every NFL player is glad that he's going to be gone as NFLPA president. The person coming in, a little bit different, will fight for the players a little bit more. I think it's like $2 million if they change it all out, something like that. It's not overly expensive per stadium if you don't have grass. I don't see why you don't invest into that. It makes zero sense.
You can't grow it inside. That's number one. Some of the dome stadiums, like, they're gonna have a problem with that. You can't get sun to the grass.
Okay, but so would you say, for instance, that surface I was talking about, it's in Green Bay. I don't think there's any more worse weather conditions there than maybe Buffalo.
Right.
Okay.
But it's outside.
But they put a UV tarp over it, over the grass, and it's maybe like this high off the ground, like a couple inches off the ground, and it gives it the ultraviolet lights during the week. So and then when they cover it up with the tarp, it's the same. When it rains, it's the same thing. So it's still getting the light. There's ways around it. You just have to invest into it. That's like no different than investing into your players. You're giving them a better surface so you can have them longer and have them,
Agreed.
Aaron Rodgers' Achilles wouldn't have blown up if he was playing on grass.
No, I don't think the Nick Chubb injury would have been so terrible. Was that on grass or was that on turf?
I don't recall, but it's just an MCL though. So thankfully, that's all. Oh,
really?
That's all it is an MCL.
What?
Yes, he's out. He's out for like 8 weeks. Yes, that came out over the weekend. I meant to tell you that because we were talking about it at the game.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
bro, that's the best news. I did not know that. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was on grass or on turf, but there's a thing where I notice it when I'm walking on the field shooting, man, and I don't even have cleats.
No, it was grass.
It was
in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Okay, so there's a thing with the turf that cleat just sticks, man. It sticks in where the grass has that give. Let's say you get hit in a spot in that lower leg, you need that cleat to slip. Jimmy has a leg right now because that cleat slipped out of that last night. And every player needs to be able to have that slippage because we see it too much. We see it happening over and over again. And it just ruins seasons, man. Like, you was talking about it earlier, the amount of money and marketing that the NFL put into Aaron Rodgers in New York this year.
Oh man, they had Blue Chew, Viagra, and the honey and the Jamaican tea. They're taking all that during the season. They were like, Aaron Rodgers in New York on Hard Knocks, and like as you said, on a freaking in a Super Bowl contending team.
Yes.
Oh my God, they had a murder boner walking around.
Yeah, they did. And just like that,
Gone.
and they robbed us all because we all wanted to see what that was going to look like.
I did.
Yeah.
100%. Like I feel horrible for Aaron Rodgers, you know, and I'm glad he got a new surgery.
Yeah.
It could come back by the playoffs.
I saw that.
So I hope it works for him.
I mean, medicine goes leaps and bounds every year. I believe that common sense should go leaps and bounds every year, and it's time to get the turf up out of here.
Common sense ain't common anymore. All right, last topic of the show. Fight weekend back in Vegas.
Yeah.
Canelo, Charlo.
Yeah.
Now, you gave us two bets. You took USC, big. You
Yeah.
said you had UNLV going to cover.
Yeah.
Canelo, Charlo, what you thinking?
Canelo 6-round knockout. Charlo
Really?
doesn't stand a chance in this fight.
I think a stoppage in 8.
I'll take it. 6 or 8. I'm betting 6. I just don't look. It takes a while, but once an athlete gets my respect, he's gonna keep it until he loses it.
And that's how you feel about Canelo?
That's how I feel about Canelo. I feel like Canelo comes out, gets the job done against Charlo. I think it's lightweight. I don't think it's gonna be that good of a fight. Charlo is tough. I give him that. I think he can withstand the pounding for some rounds, but I don't think he has much to give back to Canelo, and I just think it's just another one of them things, man. He's out of there.
Part of me wants Charlo to win, only because I want to see him fight Tank at 154 so Tank can win those belts, unify on
Bud.
3 different... Bud. My bad. Bud. Sorry, Tank. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. See, my mind is in boxing right now. Completely. Because I know I seen a catch fight with Tank, and I was thinking about that as well. But I want to see Bud fight Charlo at 154 to unify those belts and walk away, or maybe go fight somebody else at a higher weight and unify that belt, and then say, hey, I'm good. I'm Terrence Crawford. I've done something no one else has done, and walk away from it. Because Bud's got all his faculties. He's a astute businessman. And at the end of the day, though, I think Canelo's just a better fighter than Charlo. Like, he's got punching power that's out of this world.
Agreed. I'm just not so interested in Canelo versus Bud at any time in their career, because I just don't believe in, boxing has its weight classes for a reason, right? All humans are built different. Canelo is a big guy. Bud is not. You know what I'm saying? Bud should be fighting guys his size. Canelo should be fighting guys his size. What does it do for Canelo to beat up on Bud because he just can put his weight around and toss him around with his weight, right? What does it do for him? I don't think it does anything. If he beats Bud, everybody says, oh, he's way smaller than you. Yeah, that's why you beat him. Flip side, it does everything for Bud if he goes up and beats Canelo. So, I don't see Canelo allowing that, him or his people allowing that to happen, because I just don't feel like there's anything in it for him, unless some astronomical amount of money that you can't turn away happens, then it's going to happen. But, I feel like styles make fights, and that's not going to be a good fight.
I agree. So we both got Canelo. He got him in 6. I got him in 8. All right, man. So you're rocking some new gear. Where'd you get it from?
I do, man. Shouts out to my boys, Bricks and Wood out of Cali. They hooked me up today. Got me some cool pieces. I'll be wearing them coming up. Look, we all about small business here, man. So anybody want to send us some gear, you got some products, you got this, you got that going on, hit us up in the DMs. Talk to us. Because we love to give y'all the support on our platform. It's ours. Like, we're independent here. We don't have to clear nothing with nobody.
You're clear with us.
Clear with us. So hit us up in the DM if you got a clothing line, you got hats, you got cups, you got whatever. Holler at us. All right. See if we can get it on the show.
That's it for this week's show. We want to thank Bricks and Wood. We want to thank the Black Hole for the gear.
Yeah.
And don't forget, check us out every week right here on Franchise Sports Media. Follow us on all social media at TheFranchiseLV.
Please subscribe to the YouTube channel at TheFranchiseLV.
Girls are still pretty in fashionable dresses.